etch-a-sketch. This was the precursor to the laptop. A laptop that could only run Microsoft Paint in black and white. It had a monochrome screen, so everything you drew looked like it was set in the 1930s. I'm not sure what the appeal of the etch-a-sketch was, because a pencil and a sketch pad was infinitely more enjoyable. If you weren't used to which knob did what, or which direction went which way, you'd always twist one of the knobs in the wrong direction to make the cat that you were drawing now have whiskers coming out of places it really shouldn't have whiskers. Diagonals were a challenge too, as were circles, so you could forget drawing Pac-Man eating Doritos. If you wanted to keep the picture you'd drawn, you either had to take a Polaroid of the screen, or you had to go out and buy another etch-a-sketch. Rally Chopper. Made of steel, making it ridiculously heavy, with one wheel bigger than the other, resulting in involuntary wheelies and the fact it wobbled when you got up to any kind of speed. The Rally Chopper was a death trap. Add in the fact that it had a T-bar gear stick, not 3 inches away from your groin, there were plenty of opportunities for birth control if you braked too hard. First released in 1969, it was still a big seller in the 1980s, until the BMX took over. The film Rally Chopper Bandits didn't quite have the same ring to it, but would definitely have been a better film. The main draw for this bike was the sofa that it had on the back in place of a conventional saddle. You could fit 3, maybe 4 of your friends on the back and take them for a short weekend break in Rill. The low drop handlebars and the addition of a kickstand made you feel like a Hell's Angel too, only with less tattoos, apart from the ones you got inside the bubblegum, which you licked and pressed onto the back of your hand. Purple People Eater. In 1958, Sheb Woolley had a song called the One-Eyed Horn Flying Purple People Eater. In it, there's a monster who wants to join a rock and roll band and tries to achieve this by eating purple people. In 1982, I thought I'd never sleep again when I got a Waddington's Purple People Eater. It was made of rubber, a creepy latex type of rubber with a face that would have given Freddy Krueger nightmares. The premise of the game was much like that of Operation. You had to remove the people from its mouth without touching the sides. If you did touch it, its right eye lit up and it screamed a scream that sounded like it came directly from Satan's bottom. There's an online legend I read in which a young chap's dad used to wear the rubber monster over his head and chase him around the house. He still sleeps with both eyes open 40 years later. Hungry hippos. These days, the single biggest cause of repetitive strain injury is typing on keyboards. In 1980s, it was Hungry Hippos, a game for up to 4 players, each taking their place behind a hippo with a lever on its back. Marbles are released into the playing area, and each player has to smash the lever down as many times as possible in order to extend the hippo's telescopic neck, grab as many marbles as possible. The game invariably ended up with someone slamming the lever into the table so hard the entire game was catapulted across the room into your nan's face while she was watching Metal Mickey. Take a look at the commercial from the 1980s. It features 4 children pressing their lever lethargically for 30 seconds, looking like it's not possible to have less fun. Then one of the kids shouts, "I've won!" in the least excited voice of all time. The other 3 kids look relieved rather than upset that they've lost, and they're now allowed to leave and go wash the dishes or count the blades of grass in the back garden. You know, something less tedious. Mr. Frosty. This was the greatest lie ever told to an 8-year-old. Mr. Frosty was a plastic snowman with a blue hat and a circle cut out of his tummy. It was supposed to be an ice cone maker. However, in the television advert, Someone put an ice cube into the hole in his head, popped the hat back on, to use as a kind of plunger, then turned the handle on his back, and what came out of the hole in his tummy was perfectly crushed ice, the type slush puppies are made of. In reality, the handle wouldn't turn and would eventually snap off. Either that or 1% of the ice would shave after a few minutes because it had melted. What ice you were able to get out was then covered with syrup dispensed from a penguin's head. The E numbers gave you the energy to turn the handle and shave the ice, just like the advert. Girls' World.
What's this you're giving me for Christmas, Mummy? Ooh, a disembodied head! Thanks, Mum!
Girls' World was the slightly sexist Christmas gift for lovers of makeovers. Its reason for existing was to practice your hairdressing and makeup skills, the manufacturers forgetting that each person who received one also had their own head to practice these things on. All they really needed was a much cheaper mirror and a £1.99 makeup set from Woolworths. With the Girls' World came some shampoo, conditioner, which seemed to work on nylon hair, rollers, a brush, a comb, and some fake makeup, which was designed to be washed off the dummy's face once you were done. The makeup consisted of eyeshadow, colours ABBA would be scared to wear, blusher, and lipstick. Most people who owned one got bored with it one day, cut its hair, ruined it, put it back in the box, put it on top of the wardrobe, and never played with it again. Swing ball. The quintessentially English pastime of a gentle game of tennis. Wearing a white jumper and shorts combo, using a fuzzy little ball, two friends gently pat the ball back and forth over a net, followed by finger sandwiches and a glass of Pimm's. What fun! Then there's swing ball. It was an attempt to recreate tennis, but without all the having to go and get the ball which has gone over the hedge business. It also eradicated the difficult serving part too. So what went wrong? Well, for a start, the ball was attached to a rubber band connected to a spiral on the top of a stick which had been hammered 6 feet into the ground. It didn't resemble tennis in the slightest. The point of the game was to try to get the ball to spiral around the stick until it reached either the top or the bottom, depending on which you preferred, before your opponent did. What was supposed to be a relaxing game of chivalry soon descended into a frenzied pair of hyped-up children going berserk and smashing the tennis ball with more energy than either had put into the entire rest of their lives. The ball would inevitably detach from the string after one furious wallop of the racket and fly through the glass of next door's greenhouse. The participants would all then immediately scatter and deny ever having heard of swing ball, and when questioned, tell the next door neighbour that the stick in the back garden is part of an old washing line that the previous owners of the house had.